How you doing?
Well, according to the economy, I should be doing horrible. And I know two people that apparently the bad economy right now is not potentially going to affect them. Well, and it's not you and me, by the way.
Well, I hope not, but we'll see.
Well, you hope that the bad economy does affect us?
No, it does not.
Does not affect us, yes. I'm Phil Royle. I am one of the co-hosts here who was looking for a way to work his way into the podcast smoothly. So that was my awesome little, not a segue. I guess it was a segue from nothing into something. Is that a segue? I don't know. Whatever it is. What do I say here? I said my name. I say youtube.com/@thewalkcar. You can watch our smiling faces there or listen to us.
Click on the shorts tab
if
you have ADD.
If you can only pay attention for about 30 seconds to a minute and a half. We have shorts. Watch those. They'll kind of ease you in, just like my bad transition did at the beginning of this episode. Outside of that, I've been doing content poorly for a long time. It's related to the automotive world.
And for some reason, doing it.
Yeah, for some reason I still am able to do it. Like, people still pay me to do this stuff, even though I'm convinced I'm a hack. So, there's that. Are you a hack?
Ed Sanchez, Phil's hack and crime. That sounds bad. Anyway, likewise, been in the biz for 2+ decades. Coming up on, I think, pretty soon, 5 years doing a podcast. Almost,
I'm really
right?
bad at math. We're on episode 248. So somebody else do the math. I think we've only skipped one episode in that amount of time.
Yep. And I was like, how will we ever recover?
Yeah. Well, and we maybe skip it. We've got 2 back-to-back weeks that are really rough coming up.
So we might take another break.
So there may be a break for the holidays of a week. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. What there is no break for, though, is the waterfall of cash that is coming down for certain EV CEOs or presidents. As we were discussing earlier, I've lost track as to who's president, who's CEO, who's chairman.
Talking about corporate structures.
Yeah, not everything is equal. So Ford has, what did we decide? And we're not about to talk about Ford. We'll talk about Ford later. Ford has a chairman, a CEO,
and a president.
GM has a chairman/CEO and a president. I believe Tesla, which is what we're about to talk about, isn't Elon
as a supervillain?
Isn't Elon? Yes, in his evil lair, isn't he president and CEO? And then there's also a chairman, or is he chairman?
No. He had to, as part of the SEC settlement, he had to give up chairman.
I thought that ended though.
I think the period where that was binding ended, but Tesla still has a non-Musk chairwoman, technically, if you want to get specific. But
so
he's still CEO. Yeah.
Is he? So he's CEO. Is he also president of Tesla?
I don't know.
This is where the corporate structures are horrible and nothing is the same. He's the guy that runs the show. He's the
pretty much, yeah,
the head honcho
for all intents and purposes, yeah.
And he has asked for, and this isn't new. He asked for I
think it was 700 million something, so almost $1 trillion.
Is that what it is? I thought he asked for $1 trillion, but it's 700 million.
It's not
700 billion,
but it's close enough.
He asked for $700 billion bump and pay, or not bump and pay, bonus, whatever it would be. Yes. And what does he have to do? Well, anyway, I guess so. The news is he asked for it. Now the news is that he's gotten it.
It was approved by 75%.
Yeah,
a shareholder vote,
which is ludicrous that many people voted for it. What does he have to do to become? Wouldn't he be the world's first trillionaire?
I guess if he were to meet all the milestones for this compensation package, then yes.
Which we know he's going to get this no matter what. It doesn't matter if he reaches his goals. He's going to get it.
Yeah.
The structure of the board of Tesla is set up so that he controls it.
Yeah.
Everybody's a
Family and friends,
fanboy on there. They're a relative or a fanboy. They are all going to give him this. They are all going to vote to give it to him. All right, so what does he need to do, in theory, even though he really just has to sit there and not die in order to get the money?
Okay, well, so this will be divided into what they call 12 tranches, which are basically like kind of installment payouts of the compensation. I think the first tranche or installment would be if Tesla hits a market cap of 2 trillion, which they're already at least were over a trillion. I don't know where they because their stock price kind of fluctuates, but so they're already about halfway there.
As of this recording, 1.37 trillion US dollars.
Okay, so they're not far off from that. So probably, I would say probably within a year or two they'll hit that. And then it says the next 9 tranches, so I guess maybe it's 10 total, would be awarded if Tesla's value increases by increments of 500 billion up to a maximum, or I guess not the maximum, but where he would get fully paid out if their market cap goes to 6.5 trillion, which is insane. But
is there a time limit to this, or this just kind of sits for whenever?
I don't think there's necessarily a time limit. I think they're just, he doesn't get the payout till he reaches these certain milestones. I think that's pretty much how it works. I mean, maybe there is a time restriction, but I didn't see it.
You've got a note here that says his ownership would increase from 13% to 25%, which gets him back to where he wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
That was his big thing. Remember like a year ago?
Where he had a tantrum and said, if you don't give me 25% control, I'm going to leave.
Yeah. So he sold a bunch of his shares to buy Twitter because he talked himself into a lawsuit and had to cough up like $15 billion, whatever it was, to buy Twitter. And he went from like 13% or whatever the number was down to 11%. And then he threw a little hissy fit and was like, well, I need 25% ownership of this because otherwise, why should I be running this company? And I don't remember where the $45 billion payday came in all of this, but all of this it's not becoming of a CEO. And if he were any CEO of any other company in the world, pretty much, they would have canned him.
Or they would have said, go pound sand.
Yeah. They would have gotten rid of him with a demand like that. Like, you need to give me all of this share or else why should I work here? Why should I continue to do this? And then also diverting all the NVIDIA chips to saying, well, Tesla's not ready for them yet. And then having his XAI company buy them all. And so he made the decision that Tesla wouldn't get all these chips. And then his other company went and purchased it. And then he did things. Oh, right before that, he was saying, well, Tesla's not a car company. They're an AI company, and that's the future. Oh, and I've got XAI here, and it's direct competitor, apparently, to what I'm running here. Like, literally all fireable offenses for any other CEO. Imagine...
Except him. Yeah.
Anybody else. Imagine Chris Farley, Mary Barra, whoever the...
Chris Farley or Jim Farley?
Jim Farley. Kumar Galhotra, who I just discovered is the president of Ford. Imagine any of them making these demands, outright demands.
Yeah, the board would say, get lost.
Yeah, fired in an instant. But pay him $1 trillion.
Yeah, so anyway. He's someday going to get a fat payday, sooner or later. I'll tell you who else is going to get a pretty decent payday, not quite to the same magnitude, but I mean, I wouldn't mind having this kind of compensation.
I'll argue that it is to the same magnitude, because
you think so?
I think when you hit a certain threshold of money, cash doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Since this is a family show, I'm not going to say the full word, but kind of FU money.
Yeah. Yeah, so dive into this one. This is RJ Scaringe. This is over...
Yes, Rivian.
Did I send you that text?
What?
But you know how you see all those bumper stickers on Teslas that said pre-Elon crazy edition, or I bought this before Elon went mad, all those things. There was one that I saw that was a Tesla Model 3
or Model Y. Yeah.
And it said, the bumper sticker on that said, I identify as a Rivian.
Pretty funny. Maybe I should get one. Scaringe, or I guess Rivian voted to give Scaringe a $4.7 billion pay package. So it's not $1 trillion, but that's still a chunk of change, I'd say.
For a company that I think is losing money, that's pretty good pay.
Well, they have a lot riding on the R2. I know they really want / or need that to succeed for them to get over the hump. But anyway, very generous, not quite as generous as what Musk was able to strong arm, but and of course they did the whole little PR package with this. They said the performance grant is, quote, structured in a way that ensures the options only vest should the company deliver significant value to our shareholders.
i.e. needs to make money.
Yes. So they said he needs to add $32 billion in value to Rivian, and that shareholders will see $153 billion of value creation if he hits his milestones. So, however they formulated that.
Rivian's market cap right now is $21.5 billion.
Okay.
So if they want to see 153 billion of value creation, I'm assuming that means market cap.
Yeah. Market cap and or sales again, but yeah, most likely market cap, I'd imagine.
They got a long way to go.
They got a little ways to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thing he's a young guy. So, I guess he could get as many as 36.5 million shares under this package. And this one does have a time frame. This one says 10 years. And if he hits those goals within 10 years, he would get another 3% of the company, which I believe would raise his full stake. I think I read somewhere up to like 10%.
Well, and it would be 3% of a company that in theory is worth over $200 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself would be a pretty huge bump in pay. Like that would, I assume, that's on top of the 4.7 billion, is that he would get 3% of the company. That I'm no good at math, but that seems like a big number.
Yeah. So he's not going to be shaking his soda cup on Main Street. So anyway, good for him. So, I guess. I mean,
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And I would say Elon's asking for, so remember like Austin Powers? And in the first movie, he asks for $1 million.
Yeah.
From the world.
And everyone's like,
whoever. And they laugh at him because it's such a ridiculously small number. And then they ask for like $100 billion. Yeah. Which now is like, it's just another payday for Elon Musk. But then was like a ludicrous amount of money. Like it didn't exist. So everybody's like, oh, where will we get this money from? I would argue that with this, the difference between 4.7 billion and 1 trillion is really almost nothing. Like,
so it's like RJ saying $1 million.
Well, no, I'm just saying that there is really, it would be like if Dr. Evil had said $10 billion and then changed it to $100 billion. The actual effective difference is nothing to an individual. Now, when you're running an entire evil empire, as Dr. Evil was, okay, you can spend that money because all of those lackeys that you've got to hire and the sharks with freaking lasers, none of that's cheap. You're blowing through a lot of capital on that. But as an individual, if you're Elon Musk, or in this case, if you're RJ Scaringe and you've got 4.7 billion, lose half of that in taxes, so you got $2.5 billion. What can you not buy personally that you could buy if you had $1 trillion or half of that in taxes? You've got $500 billion. Like, what could you?
Small country, private island. I mean,
you could buy. You cannot spend. You've hit the point with $2.5 billion in cash. You've hit the point where you cannot spend that amount of money personally. As a company,
well,
yes.
Effectively, yeah.
As an individual, I can't remember who it was that was saying it, like that if you win the lottery and you win like when it was the Mega Ball thing and it was like $1 billion, you pretty much cannot spend that amount of money. You go out and your first day, was it Bill Gates that was talking about this? You go out and your first day, you go and you buy a $30 million mansion. And then the next day you go out and you buy all these like $20 million worth of cars. And then you buy all this, you drop $10 million in clothes. And then you go and you buy an estate over in Italy and you spend another $30 million. And by the time you're done, you've spent $150 million. Then what?
And then you're like, now what?
Yeah, you become Bezos and you buy a $100 million yacht, and then that costs you $30 million a year or whatever it is in upkeep and staff.
Yeah.
But you haven't begun to scratch the surface of the money that you have. And your money is making money. So you are forever getting richer. You hit a point where you are effectively infinitely rich. And
must be nice.
Yeah.
I don't personally know that feeling.
I think RJ Scaringe is going to hit that. If he gets to that nut that he needs to hit, he will get to effectively infinite wealth. Which is why I don't understand why Elon Musk, other than craziness and ego, has come up and said, pay me basically $1 trillion. He's the Dr. Evil going $100 billion, like a ludicrous amount of money that you don't need. How about instead you say, I want, I don't know.
World hunger.
Yeah, say pay me $100 billion, and then the remaining $600 billion needs to go into a fund to solve an energy crisis, something or other that goes back to the original fund of the purpose of Tesla, the grand plan that he had. I think it would look a lot better for him.
Well, he's never really been one much for charity. So, I get that.
He's the one who blew concrete into the sky in Texas, and it landed in like an elementary school, and it
like
just pays a fine.
Someone's minivan or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Well, I mean, I don't know. Wasn't there's something called the X Prize or something? What I could see him do, and I think it would get him some accolades and kudos, is kind of like, maybe he's already doing this and I don't even know about it, but like a moonshot prize of like a really difficult, like physical or, like kind of existential issue that no one's really been able to tackle. But, if someone could demonstrate, we've cracked the code, they would get like $100 million or whatever, or that much in seed money to start a company or whatever. I mean, it seems like that's something he could do, and it wouldn't tarnish his capitalist image. He's still like kind of building. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. So anyway, we're talking about stupid levels of money that neither one of us will probably ever see. But
and most people aren't. There's like Bill Gates, there's Mackenzie Bezos, and to a lesser degree Warren Buffett, and I'm sure some others that give their money away to various charities. And I'm only more familiar with Mackenzie Bezos. I assume she's still Mackenzie Scott. That she gives money away with no strings. Basically, she'll find a cause and then she hands.
Just like, here you go.
Yeah, and it's not got. It's a very different way of giving money, but it ends in some interesting results. I'm sure both good and bad. Like I'm sure there's some waste, whatever. But it sure seems like Elon's in this for himself. And I'm not saying that RJ Scaringe isn't asking for a ridiculous amount of money. He is. Like that's a lot of money.
No, but I mean, I I don't know. I don't have as much, and maybe it's just the magnitude. I don't have as much of an issue with Scaringe's deal as I do with Musk.
Yeah.
I mean, Tesla and Musk, it is what it is. But I mean, I think if Scaringe can achieve those milestones they kind of laid out, it's like, hey, good on him. He earned it. So.
Yeah, and he's got a timeline that he needs to follow, and I don't know. I think listeners to this podcast will be shocked. Elon Musk has rubbed me the wrong way for a long time. And he would need to do something quite tremendous for me to like him as a person at this point. I still like the company. Yeah. But him as a person, and this does not do anything for my opinion of him.
No.
Leave a comment at YouTube on youtube.com/AtTheWalkCar. Tell me how wrong I am on why Elon deserves $700 billion and a bump from 13 to 25% of the company so he can get ultimate control beyond the crazy level of control that he's already got over this company. And if you think that Tesla can only survive with Elon Musk at the helm, tell me how a great company leader or any leader rests 100% of the success on themselves and doesn't set up a succession plan that the people can believe in. Because it seems like that's what he talks about, is that the company will fail without him, and the Tesla stands believe that. Yeah. What kind of a good leader is that does not have a succession plan?
My guess is they probably do. It's just not public. Maybe they don't. Who knows?
I'm guessing someone on the board has come up with a succession plan, and Elon doesn't want to hear it. He wants his $1 trillion.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking about making a lot of money.
Off my soapbox.
So from making a lot of money to losing a lot of money. So the Lightning, the Ford F-150 Lightning, which was kind of a pioneering vehicle. It came out before the Cybertruck. I think around the same time, but I think even a little before the R1T. I think they came out around the same time. I can't remember exactly, but anyway. And it was a very innovative product. It kind of balanced kind of very futuristic technology with kind of a familiar form factor. So it was more approachable. The R1T was a little more avant-garde, and the Cybertruck is kind of in its own universe altogether. But, at least with the Lightning, it looked pretty much like a normal F-150. Had a lot of functionality. The frunk was, I think a good idea.
Superpower Mega Frunk, wasn't it?
Exactly. With all the plugs and everything.
Yeah.
Didn't meet the cost target. I remember when they first announced it, they said it would start under 40,000. I think ultimately it started around 50 and went up from there.
Well, that was them chasing Tesla, because Tesla said that the Cybertruck was going to be under 40,000, and everybody was like, under 40,000, sure.
So they massively over-anticipated demand, and they had to kind of dial that back. Now they're selling a decent number of them. I think, I don't know, I want to say last year they sold like 20,000 of them or something, which so by itself is the best-selling EV truck in the country for whatever that's worth. So there are a couple of components to this story. So the first part actually affected all F-150s, not just the Lightning. So the F1, actually the whole F series, not just the F-150, all F series have an aluminum body, and that started 2015, I think.
Sounds about right.
Model year for the F-150, and then later the Super Duty went to an aluminum body, say 2020, 2021, I don't know. Anyway, they're all aluminum now. So there was a fire at their main aluminum supplier, which kind of gummed up the works for all the F-150s. So they had to temporarily idle their Rouge assembly plant, where they make most of the F-150s. So I think they're starting to ramp that back up and make the normal F-150s. But in terms of the Lightning, they're still like, maybe we'll keep that one on pause for a little longer. So for sure it's on pause, and some are speculating it could get the axe indefinitely. So, I don't know. I mean, I know dealers don't like sitting on unsold inventory, and neither does Ford. So, I mean, I'm presumably they're just going to sell out their existing inventory, and then, I mean, assuming they can get the, aluminum supply back online, maybe they might bring it back. But they've been very non-committal about this up till this point. So, I don't know.
The F-150 Lightning is one of the most functional of the trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I much prefer how the Rivian R1T looks.
Yeah.
I am seeing the Rivians all over my neighborhoods now, or my neighborhood. The S and the T are just showing up everywhere now.
Doing Halloween light shows.
Yeah. That was fun. I went to a house and there was a guy who had his up there and it had the little green vroom vroom thing going and it was growling and it was pretty cool. Like he'd done a whole show as well. Like he was doing the standing behind a pillar and dressed as a mass murderer and chasing people and whatnot. So he was a bit of a...
Oh, he's really getting into it.
Yeah, he was a Halloween fanatic as it was, but his Rivian was going at it. Then there was another guy that I knew that his Rivian truck, I didn't even know he had one. And he was powering his front yard with the Rivian. So he had his big TV because the World Series was going on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had his big screen TV in the bed of the truck, and then everything was powered off of the truck, which was pretty cool because I just said a couple weeks earlier, like when I go camping, I never see anybody doing that. And there's one of the guys I know.
And they're, I don't know if you'd consider front yard camping, but
well,
proves the point though.
Yes, he was powering his whole Halloween party, front yard party, off of his truck.
Yeah,
which was pretty cool. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for Ford because we've discussed many times electric trucks are not very useful if you want to do truck stuff. And I think there is a market for the lifestyle truck like what Rivian has.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're getting to Ford and Chevy / GM, you need a truck that could do truck stuff. You expect those to do truck stuff. And Ford kind of has it with their long range. Chevy definitely has it with their Silverado. So I don't know at this point if they idle it and then come back. Is a better solution, I guess, to look at Chevy sales and go, is there a market for that big battery and then only sell long range and super duper long range? Like just go honking big.
I have a whole different kind of hypothesis about this. So remember the presentation they did a few months ago on their low cost, modular construction EV. So they've already said the first variant of that is going to be a pickup. They say they're going to sell for around 30,000-ish. I have a hard time believing. I think probably by the time it comes to market, it'll be basically 40 for anything anyone would want to buy. I mean, they might have a one at this price, configuration with a dinky battery and steel wheels and all that.
But, well, that price was probably relying on $7,500, which may be coming back in 28.
Well,
for all we know,
who knows? But I think this may be the end of the current generation Lightning. They may just say, you know what, we're going to sell out the inventory we had. We're going to, we had a good run for a few years, but at this point we're going to stop it, and then we're going to start R&D on a future model. I think there will be another electric F-150, but this may be the end of this iteration of it. I think I've read supposedly a new F-150 is coming in 2027. So I would think they would prioritize the gas and or hybrid, whatever versions first. So possibly we might see a next generation Lightning, maybe around 2028. And that would also come alongside the new, lower cost modular EV pickup. So then it would say, oh, They might do it like but wait, there's more. Everyone's expecting a lot of people think is maybe called the Ranchero, the smaller one. It says Ranchero, but wait, there's more. Look at the new Lightning, yay! So I mean, I don't know.
You don't think the answer would potentially be blow out the Lightning name do it Dodge style? You see, you get rid of the current Lightning, and then right at kind of the end of the lifespan of this F-150 lineup, you bring back like the super truck, the Lightning super truck version.
Oh, with that like a big old gas, like supercharged V8.
No, you do an EV version. You do a
like 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, you do like they've been doing with the
Yeah.
super van or whatever it is. You you basically make a Raptor Lightning limited edition, $150,000, $180,000, whatever it is, a truck that does 0 to 60 in 2.1 seconds. And you blow out the rest of your inventory that you've got, and all you've done really is just strapped in a different motor and thrown your Raptor body on
it. Possibly. I'm not saying that couldn't happen.
Make the Lightning great again, is what I'm saying.
It could happen. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people are maybe prematurely writing the obituary on the Lightning, but Ford hasn't really said one way or the other. But I think it's safe to say they're going to prioritize the gas version first. Then if they have the capacity and if they feel there's enough pent-up demand, they may kind of reintroduce it, but this could be the end. So I don't know. I think it was a good effort. I think it was a compelling product. I do feel it was a little too expensive. I think it's Achilles heel. That could be said for a lot of EV models.
Some would say that's the case for almost all of the EV models out there.
So, I think it would have been a lot more compelling at about $10,000 to $15,000 than it is, per the trim level. Because even like the sweet spot, I'm trying to remember what was they came out with one where it was like kind of the XLT trim, but it had the long range battery. It wasn't the Pro, but there was another, I don't know. I can't remember the variation off the top of my head, but it was kind of the sweet spot where it had all the desirable hardware, but it didn't have like all the gingerbread of like the Limited or King Ranch. It was just kind of pretty basic, but all the good stuff, you want. Yeah. And even that was like $65,000. And I'm like, if that was 50, that'd be pretty sweet, but 65, like, oof. Anyway.
That's everything in my life right now. Like I went to the grocery store today to buy apple juice and brown sugar. And I ended up spending, because you see things when you're walking through. I ended up spending like $22. Whatever.
That you weren't planning on? Or total?
In total. Like it should have cost me.
You came in intending to spend $10 and you left
not even 10.
Twice as much.
And I left with a $22 bill.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
That's me in Trader Joe's like all the time. I go in there with like one reusable bag and I have to get another one because I get too much. So anyway. So this
you sounded so, that's such a California thing.
Oh my gosh.
I went to Trader Joe's, on my way to Whole Foods.
Yes.
And the organic
bag.
aisle wasn't enough there, so
I drove there in my Tesla. Of course, I don't have the anti-Elon bumper sticker, so I guess I lost my California cred there. Anyway,
I'll print you one for Christmas.
You can give me that identifies as a Rivian one.
Yes.
So this is a company that we've criticized before for being kind of dragging their feet with EVs, you could say. But they've been talking this up for a while, so we'll see if they finally deliver on it. So this is Toyota and solid state batteries, which, they've been talking a big game for, I'd say probably about the last 2 or 3 years at least.
At least they seem to be the manufacturer that is, in my news feed anyway, comes up the most for solid state battery development is Toyota.
They, get this, they are targeting a 40-year lifespan for their solid state batteries. So pretty on brand for Toyota because they're known for going the distance. So, but I mean, I'm kind of wondering, is this even necessary?
As somebody that buys cars and runs them into the ground over the course of 20-something years. Yes, this is necessary. The thing that impressed me here was I read the headline, 40-year lifespan, and I was like, yeah, 40-year, and what's the battery, like, what's the capacity on that at 40 years? Because everything degrades. The crazy thing is they're saying 90% capacity after 40 years. I think their standard now is 90% after
like 10 or 15
10 years, something like that. So this is a massive jump in that. And I really like that. Like my newest car is a 2011. My oldest car, street car anyway, is a 99. And they, like, my 99 goes just as far as the day I bought it. Like, nothing degraded on it. I mean, you know, the window regulators, a couple of them need replacing because they're slowing down, stuff like that. But you can still go the same 300 and something miles on it. And I kind of expect EVs to do the same thing. They should go just about as far as when you bought it. Now, I mean, I know physics and science, and that is never going to happen. Like, batteries are always going to degrade. That is the nature of the beast. But I like this. And I've said this many times, like, I'll make fun of Toyota all day long. I think Toyota's going to
deliver.
I think Toyota has the capacity to win if they really
well,
put
I mean,
the
they've
effort
played it conservative, and a lot of people, you know, I'd say, you know, the peak EV hype cycle is probably around 2018, 2019. And everyone's like, oh, Toyota's dragging their feet. They're going to lose, you know, Chinese are just going to steamroll them, and they're going to, you know, they're going to be bankrupt in 2 years. It's like, well, that didn't happen. So I think they've been very slow and steady and methodical, you know, with their EV development. The first generation, when it was still called the BZ4X, was a little underwhelming.
And there were major flaws with it. There were major charging flaws with it. But once again, the charging flaws but the charging flaws were in order to extend the battery life. Like, that's how conservative they play it.
The refresh, I think they really stepped up in terms of the features, the specs, and I'd say even the general desirability. You know, I look at the second gen BZ and I'm like, okay, you know, that's actually potentially a pretty compelling purchase. First gen, I was like, don't even bother with it.
It'd be a good, the first gen would be a good second car, maybe a good used car, a good car for
just
like
for running around town.
Like if you've got a kid and you're getting him a new car, that would, you know, it's like buying an old Civic for somebody. Basically, you're buying them something that's good enough. It's good enough. And that was kind of the BZ4X.
Anyway, so what's interesting about this is when you're talking about a timeline this long, they're not just talking about second life use, but even third life use for the battery. So, I mean, they're saying this potentially the battery could outlive the car itself. So
40 years, undoubtedly, yeah. Look how many 40-year-old cars are on the road. 20 years, many. Easy. 30 years, you're getting to almost like nothing. I mean, 40 years ago is 1985. How many 1985 cars do you see on the road?
I have an 83.
But do you even see it on the road? You don't drive it.
No, barely. No. And when I have taken it out, it's people be like, what?
Yeah. 40 years is a crazy lifespan for any vehicle. And somebody will make a comment of, you know, oh, yeah, see them regularly.
1930.
What percentage of those cars are you seeing being actually driven, daily driven?
Almost probably the oldest I see, maybe like 70s. Like on weekends, I'll see like 50s and 60s cars.
Oh, yeah. No, anyway. Like weekend cars, completely different. But daily driven cars, 40 years is a crazy lifespan.
So they're talking like the battery will totally outlive the car, the main car itself, to the point where like the salvaged 40-year solid state batteries could, you know, assuming they pass kind of like the load test and everything, could just be swapped wholesale as like replacement batteries, potentially. I mean, they'd probably be you know, marketed as like remanufactured. But even after that, they're talking, you know, we could stack a bunch of these for like utility utility grade battery storage for like renewables and stuff. So
I think that's so pie in the sky. I think they're dead wrong about that.
do you?
I think when you're talking about a lifespan of 40 years, so you put it in a car first, you drive the car, and at this point you don't have an engine failure. Like, you got rid of engine failures. I think with most cars, what takes them off the road eventually is the engine's failing, emissions go, and then they just get pieced out. What you would end up with when you eliminate that is the end of life for a vehicle would be, you'd get some of that. You get window regulators, like I talked about, stuff that just kind of makes the car unusable day to day. So then it'd get parted out. And in those cases, okay, batteries become a secondary market. I would guess that in a case where if those don't fail, then the time when that vehicle hits end of life from sale, resale,
supporting the software.
When it gets hit by another car. Like,
yeah, effectively.
40 years is a long time to go without getting into an accident. You get into an accident with one of these things, you get hit by a car, your battery is compromised at that point. Now it's people that run companies like Redwood Materials. Redwood Materials? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Redwood Materials, yeah.
Where it gets into recycling. And that, I think, is then how recyclable these are. But taking it as a whole, I think that's probably...
Well, I mean, it would depend
good in
on
theory, but in reality, you're going to have more cars written off than
well, possibly.
You can't just use.
I mean,
the
I
battery.
would say if it was a bad collision, I think there would be safety and liability reasons why they wouldn't do that. But I mean, as we've seen, and I've seen this with both Teslas and Rivians, and probably, I mean, you could probably say BMWs and Mercedes models. They get into what looks like a relatively minor collision, and they're totaled. Where it just barely scrunches the front corner bumper, and they're like, well, it's a $30,000 repair, and the whole car is only worth $25 at that point. I could see at that point where the battery pack is effectively untouched.
Yeah.
That they could drop it out, do a diagnostic test on it, look for any like physical damage. They say, no, this one's perfectly good. So, I mean, who knows? This is all kind of hypothetical, but
I'm just thinking if you're taking batteries out of crashed cars and then strapping them to the side of my house, I don't know if I'm cool with that.
yeah. I don't know, but I mean, this is, if they bring this to market and actually do this, I mean,
I love this.
Could be pretty revolutionary.
If I could have a car for 40 years, like that's my dream. I would buy a car now and be buried in it. I'm not making it another 40 years.
So continuing on the Toyota EV theme. So if you live outside of the U.S., the predominant Toyota truck is the Hilux, which was made famous by Top Gear and many other, and Al-Qaeda and other organizations.
You're an Al-Qaeda.
Anyway, it is the definitive Toyota truck of the world outside of the U.S. Anyway, so they just unveiled a new generation, and this is remember we talked about the BMW X5 a few episodes ago, where it's going to have the all of the above powertrain strategy. Well, they're kind of doing the same thing on the new Hilux, including a full battery electric, but it's not going to be a 600 horsepower rock crawling tire smoking beast exactly. But these specs are, you kind of look at them like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's useful in some applications.
So you have specs as a 59.2 kilowatt hour battery pack, teensy for a truck.
Yeah, they're pretty small. Yeah.
Combined power output rating 193 horsepower to the front motor, 151 pound-feet of torque, rear drive 198. So that, I don't know, that's a lot of power.
Well, it's a lot of torque.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. That's a lot of...
But that's what you want with the truck. You want torque. That's the more important figure, I'd say.
With the front motor, rear drive unit rated to... So it's a lot of torque, very little battery to use it. You get up a very small vertical hill. 150 mile WLTP range, which
would be like 125.
I'm looking at that and wondering if that's a typo in your notes. Like, that is nothing.
That's what all the stories are saying. So.
That's crazy. That's your size battery pack in your Model 3.
And something that probably weighs about 2,000 pounds more, if I had to guess.
It's craziness.
Yeah.
Max payload.
Payload and towing is okay. I mean,
towing of 3,500 pounds, but your battery doesn't. I mean, it might as well be zero, because with a 60 kilowatt hour battery, you're not in a range unladen.
So
of
what I
150
see this
WLTP. Like
what I kind of see this for is like a ranch truck, just as general like utility truck for like agriculture or local delivery, you know, that sort of stuff. When like its whole daily route is like under 100 miles.
Yeah.
You know, it would work fine for that, but you know, you wouldn't want to go road tripping in this. I wouldn't.
This strikes me a little bit like and I don't remember the specs, but I want to say they were somewhat around in this general area, but the Lordstown.
Oh, yeah, the Endurance.
Yeah. Wasn't it small?
Yeah.
Am I completely wrong? Wasn't it small
No,
battery?
I want to say it was like 80, at least 80 something. It was a big heavy truck. The big Achilles heel that I remember with the Endurance is its efficiency was horrific.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even relative to like a Hummer EV, it was significantly less than even that, and it had less power.
When I worked at a construction company years ago, we would buy trucks like they were candy. We bought them all the time. Oh, we got a new job, and you'd order like 10 new trucks, and we would go and buy the Silverado Work Edition. They were like
truck, white,
white bench seat, like no
vinyl
floor mats, like rubber on the floor, like cheapest things you could buy. And we would buy, 5 or 10 at a time for every job site, and they go out there and they just get beat up. We were not towing with them. We were not doing long distance travel with them. They were going within job sites, from job site to back to the headquarters. They were operating, moving things around within the job site. I don't know everything because I was in the cushy office, not actually doing that. I would deliver some of the trucks. But this is what this screams to me, is when I worked at that construction company, this is what we'd order 5 of or 10 of, is of the Lordstown Endurance or this model Hilux. This would be perfect for that. For anybody in the real world, this doesn't work at all.
No. I see this, so I guess they're going to offer this predominantly in Asia and Europe. So like food like bakery, like if you own a bakery and you deliver to like restaurants in the area, perfect.
Yeah.
Florists, just kind of local, kind of even like urban delivery for stuff. And like you said, job sites, like construction sites, or, like in Australia, I'm sure they're going to sell this in Australia. Hilux is very popular there. Like Australia has these huge ranches. So, it's time to go feed the sheep. I don't know.
I don't even know if they have sheep in Australia.
I think they have a lot of sheep. But
I thought all the spiders and snakes ate all the sheep. Isn't that
maybe? Anyway, so I mean, this has an application, but it's definitely not going to be the volume seller. Probably going to be the turbo diesel for the markets it sells in. But interestingly, they do say they plan on doing a fuel cell model in 2028.
Oh, sweet.
So they did that Tacoma concept at SEMA. So I don't know if that's going to have the monster like 500 plus horsepower, whatever. My guess for the Hilux, maybe like 200 horse, but I don't know.
So somebody there said, well, this doesn't go very far. This electric vehicle only goes 150 miles WLTP. Is there a way we can make this go less far? And somebody was like, we can make it hydrogen. We'll put a fuel cell in there. You won't even be able to fill it up to go anywhere. It'll be great.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, there's that. Yeah. So we want to wrap this. So I want to mention this real quick. We might do a deeper dive on this in a future episode. So remember we talked about powered travel trailers that had electric motors?
Yeah.
So a company, I guess, has made the first E-Rev travel trailer.
What? I gotta click.
Yes.
Is this? I just saw a story, Facebook. I don't know on. No, this is not it. I just saw somebody's got a Pininfarina designed one that I think had a powered axle, and then
BMP
extended
and Freedom,
out.
I'm guessing what, like $2 million?
Oh, I didn't even get that far in the thing. So what's the deal with this? So this is EREV. So this has got a gas engine that
a gas range extender on board on the trailer,
which is basically just a generator.
which I guess also, well, yeah, effectively a generator, but generator that powers the electric motors that power the trailer, I guess.
Huh.
So cool.
Well, so who's this? There'll be a link in the show notes.
Evo Trucks, whoever Evo Trucks is.
Huh. And they...
I don't know who they're backed by, if they're like backed by Thor or whatever. This is just a startup, kind of like Pebble or whatever.
Interesting. I'm going to have to read about this because in about a week or so, I'm going off camping in my very non-EREV trailer being pulled by my very non-electric truck.
So
yeah, I gotta read all about this because I'll put that in my list of things I can't afford and will never probably own.
Anyway, so yeah, we might do one of our future episodes. We might do like an all travel trailer episode because there's actually a fair amount of activity happening in that segment.
And then we could do like what we did with the EVs of like what would the perfect one be, like price and features and what are we looking for. And I'm sure nobody listened to the episode. But it won't stop us from doing it because apparently we don't care how many people listen to the episode. Speaking of that, I don't know why. Another bad transition to end the show that began with a bad transition. Everything we talked about, links in the show notes. That can be found in any of the podcast players or at youtube.com/@thewhatcar. We're on all the social medias, but I don't care if you follow or like us or anything. You could post, though, on your own page, links to the podcast, which you could do links from anywhere. You could also go to thewhatcar.com. We have a link there to every single episode with show notes. You can link to that or, the YouTube account.
Or click the share button.
Yeah, click whatever it is that you want to do, just share it. And that helps us get more of a reach, I guess.
Yes.
And then maybe we'll have some weird episodes in the weeks coming up because it's getting to holiday season. Or we'll take a break.
To be determined.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how we're feeling. And I'm feeling like I want to go. See ya.
All right.